How much house can you afford in 2023? It's a question on a lot of people's minds, and it's a daunting one to find the answer to. So I've come up with a formula that will not only tell you if a house is affordable, but it will also show you if you'll be wasting less money with that house than you do on rent. This video will be broken into two parts. First, we'll go over the formula and discuss wasted monies for rent and wasted monies with a mortgage. And in the second part, I'll show you how to use that formula to determine if a house is affordable or not. The formula goes like this. I'll throw it up on the screen for you guys first, and then we'll go through each part of it and explain what they mean. If rent is greater than TIMI, with PMI in parentheses, then you will waste less money on your house than you will on rent. Now, many people think rent is wasted money, and they're not entirely wrong. But one other thing to keep in consideration is the fact that most of the money you spend on your mortgage will be just as much of wasted money as what you're spending on rent today. Let me explain. Rent goes to your landlord, which doesn't go towards your net worth or become cash that you can keep in any capacity. Wasted money. Easy to see. But Matt, what part of my mortgage payment is wasted money? Well, not only is most of your mortgage wasted money, but there are other monetary things to consider with your home that are also wasted money. Let's break down the formula letter by letter and see how each of them represents a different form of wasted money associated with homeownership. First up in the formula, T stands for taxes. When you own a home, whether as a landlord or as you live in that house, you will owe property taxes, with very few exceptions, for the entire time that you own that property. Property taxes go towards things like your local government, municipalities, your local schools, and it doesn't increase your net worth. You'll never see it again, and it's just as much of wasted money as your rent is. Now let's take the letter I in our formula. This stands for insurance. Yes, as a renter, you often need to own renter insurance, but when you own a property, homeowner's insurance is much more expensive, does not increase your property value, you will never see it again, and is just as much of wasted money as your rent is. You might see a pattern here. Next up in the formula, we have the letter M, which stands for maintenance. As renters, we might have some forms of maintenance responsibilities, but when you're the property owner, they're all your responsibility. For things like roofs, water heaters, plumbing, electrical, you can often give your landlord a call and have those things taken care of with no cost to you. But when you own the property, you're responsible for taking care of every single one of these, and they can cost a pretty penny. The number used to figure out your average annual maintenance cost is 1% of your home's value every single year. Your maintenance costs won't normally be this consistent. It usually ends up being something like $300 one year, then $15,000 for a new roof the next year. These are all costs that, again, don't increase property value. You'll never see the money again, and is wasted money, just like rent, except when you're a renter, you don't have to save up that $15,000 over time to make sure you can afford that new roof without going into debt. Pro tip, if you do own a home or you're looking to buy a home, make sure you're always setting aside 1% of your home's value per year. Nothing is more painful than feeling like you're getting ahead in life and having a $15,000 roof replacement hit you when you least expect it, wiping out your savings and sending you back to square one. Plan for repairs, or they will make you pay the hard way. Last up in the formula, aside from the parentheses, is the letter I. This stands for interest. And oh yes, we mustn't forget that the bank is going to make its share of money on this arrangement. Interest doesn't really need any further explanation here. We all know that that is going to be wasted money. Now let's talk about the last part of the formula, PMI. This stands for private mortgage insurance and is usually required when you don't put down enough money. The standard threshold is around 20% to be able to avoid this, and there are very few exceptions that will allow you to not carry this if you put down less than 20%, and it's not cheap either. This, however, is in parentheses because it is avoidable as long as you put down enough cash, and you can discuss this with your lender to see where that threshold lies and how you can avoid paying private mortgage insurance, and I highly recommend that you do so. Private mortgage insurance does nothing other than protect the banks lending you money. If you default on your loan, the private mortgage insurance is there to help catch them on the way down. And again, is wasted money. So we can now see that the vast majority of your mortgage payment will be just as much of a waste as what you spend on rent. So now, let's see how this equation balances out when we put all these things in action. Time for a little math. If your rent is greater than your taxes, insurance, maintenance, interest, and private mortgage insurance, if you'll need to have it, then yes, you will waste less money in your mortgage payments than you do on your rent payments. Now, let's use this to find out if a house is affordable for us or not. For this, we need to add one final element to our equation. If rent is greater than taxes, insurance, maintenance, interest, private mortgage insurance, and the principal of your mortgage, which is how much money goes towards paying off your home, then not only are you spending and wasting less money than you do on rent, but part of your monthly mortgage payments are now going to increase your net worth in the equity that you're building in your home. This is a good equation. That home is affordable. The last thing to consider is it's always a good idea to have this equation end up being less than 25% of your take-home pay. If it's not only less than what you pay in rent, but is also less than a quarter of your take-home pay, you're in a great situation. Go buy that house. If you enjoyed the video, I appreciate a like and consider subscribing. My name's Matt, and I like to cover things about personal finance, and I'd prefer to talk about things that don't seem to be covered very frequently here on YouTube. One of my next videos is going to be how to overcome emotional spending, and I hope to see you there. See you next time. Bye!